Hello and welcome to the Bluayado channel. Today we're going to look at a few, um, it's payday, first of all, mostly. Anyway, at least we know the pay rates for everything for this month now. We also know that Yield Max announced late due to the holiday, so the payday is not till Monday, December 30th, but we know the numbers. So we're going to look at the two that we got recently, which is the Roundhill Bitcoin covered call ETF, which is YBTC ticker, and they paid $1.63 1.632167 per share, and this is the last payment for 2024. Next year, 2025, instead of being monthly, this security is not going to be paying every week. So hopefully they might give us this kind of payment divided by four, which would be great because I mean around 40 to 35 to 40 cents per payment, which would be awesome. But we never know what they can pay. So hopefully it's going to be at least a 30 cent to 40 cent payment per week, which would be awesome. Next, they have the Roundhill Ether covered call ETF, and that's YETH, and they paid $2, 2.576753 per share, which is awesome. This one is not going to be weekly so far, and it just came out this year, maybe only 3 or 4 month old ETF. So currently it's still monthly. It didn't change to weekly, but YBTC is going to be a weekly pair. So now let's look at the spreadsheet. So like I said, this is group A for yield max, and we got all the numbers in now. So Tesla, I didn't buy anymore. So I have 535 shares. And they paid 1.286 per share. So I'm getting 688.01 for that payout. Ybit, I have 170 shares. They paid 0.7088 per share. So I'm going to get $120.50 for that one. OARC, I have 100 shares. They pay 0.3292 per share. I'm going to get $32.92. YMAX, I still didn't buy anymore. I still was thinking I spent too much money in the last payment, so I didn't buy anything else. I probably won't buy anything else. It's the end of the year. I'm not going to buy anything else for the end of the year. So still have 200 Y Max, and they paid 24 cents. So I got $48.96 for that. These two are pretty new. I talked about them in the last videos. These are the Dorsey Wright new ETFs from Yilmax. They literally just came out in December, so no payment as of this first group A. So each of these only have five, and they didn't pay anything. Their first payment is going to be in January. The new Granite Shares Yield Boost, even though they came out in December, they actually made a payment of 4 cents. So I bought 10, and the price went up too. So I bought it at 24 or something, and now these are trading for 25, and they paid 4 cents. So I made 46 cents. Yeah, it's still a payment, right? And then we have the Roundhill right here. So the weekly that covers the NASDAQ QDTE, I have 30. They paid 80 cents, 0.80388 per share. And I made $24.12. RDTE, which covers the Russell Small Cap, 15 of those. And they paid 0.273542 per share. So I got $4.10 for that. YBTC, I have 25. They paid 1.63, so I made $40.80. YETH, I have 10 of those. They paid $2.57, so I got 25.77 for that. AIPI, these are REC shares. I have four of those. They paid $1.48, so I got $5.94. FEPI, I have two. They paid $1.08, so I made $2.17. NVDX, this is a 2 times leverage account for NVIDIA. I only had 10 of those. I bought it at 13. I think it's around 17-ish around dollars now. And they actually paid a dividend. This has been out for 2 years now. So they paid a dividend this year. They didn't pay one last year. I just bought this recently. I didn't hold it that long. I think I bought it in October. So $2.16 for that. So I made $21.68. Which these leverage account, you normally get the money from capital gains. You don't normally get distributions, but it's a annual distribution. So it's not like it's every month or anything like that. It's just once a year if they pay or if they don't pay. So this is not for dividend payments. This is mostly if you can get appreciation from the stock growth. Right? I just happened to put it here because it was a time for the annual distribution, but this would not be here every month or even every week or nothing like that. So MSTU, they did put out that they could possibly pay a payment annually. But again, this security came out this year. So at the end, they didn't make any payment, which I showed in the last video. So I still, at this point, I have 70 of those of these. And my cost basis is around five something now because I bought at 10 and my last one was at 3. So it's in the middle-ish now. So my cost base is around $5 and change now. But the security is at 10. So I'm hoping that these go up next year, depending on what MSTR does, MicroStrategy does, because this is linked heavily to MSTR. It's two times leverage on MSTR. And then this one, CIPI just came out too, so they didn't make a payment yet. So that's another zero here. And then my stable coins, I bought 30, I'm up to 100 now, but I didn't get it before the record date, which was 12/15ish, I think, or 12/17. Anyway, I bought it after that. So those 30 are not included in this payment. Only 70 are. So 7.63 for that. ECC. This had an extra bonus for the whole year of 2 cents. So next year, this will actually decrease to 14 cents. That's a normal payment for this whole year. They paid 14 cents and then an extra bonus of 2 cents, which they had announced at the beginning of the year. And next year, they didn't say that was going to continue. So this particular security is going to change to 14 cents, which is the normal payment. And that's probably why the price was dropping. It used to be high nines, almost $10, and now it's like $8. So it's going down by 2 cents. I still think it's a good payment, so I will not be selling this off. But yeah, this payment is going to change in the new year to what it was normally without the bonus of the extra 2 cents to 14 cents. So this security will be paying 14 cents per month instead of 16. But anyway, right now I'll make it 25.60 on that. This one I didn't see anything changing the price as of right now. Like I said, it was way above my cost basis, so I didn't buy anymore after I had this 70. If it goes down, 18 cents is pretty good payment. So I might buy some more. And that pays me $12.74. VTN. This is a tax-free one. This price actually went down. I think I bought it. My cost basis to like 11. I think it's like 10 something now. So yeah, I'd probably buy some more of these because it's tax-free. Whatever you make on this, which is getting close to $25 a month, is not going to be taxed, not even the 15 or 20% tax that you get on dividends. This is completely tax-free because I live in New York City. So, but again, it doesn't pay that much. So I didn't pile a ton of money in here, but it's still a good one to throw some money into. I will buy, it's probably the only buy I probably do. I'll probably buy this Monday if the price is still down. I'll probably buy some more of these Monday. Maybe try to get 20 more, at least get to 380 and see what happens. Good. Still, I must have got it a really good time for this one too. This price has jumped tremendously since I bought. That's why I didn't buy anymore. That's why I'm still sticking with this little 10 shares for a 10-cent payment. So yeah, my payment's only $1 here. Again, if I see a good price to come in on this, I'll buy some more. But right now, I'm not. So yeah, my next focus probably would be VTN for the tax free for New York here, at least to get to a square $25, maybe $50 ish. That would be like double this. I'll see. But that's what we try for. So that's the payday for Yield Max Group A. Granite shares the new one, Yield Boost, Roundhill, Rex shares, and then these stable distribution rates that I have down here. So this week, I made $1,087.24. And for the month of, I'm going to send all this to my checking account. I spent entirely too much money last week reinvesting, and maybe I'll only invest this 87 bucks here, buy something. And then we'll go to what did I make for the month? Let's see. Yeah, so the total payment for December 2024 for me is $8,525.93. Um, I sent 4,700 to my checking account to live off of, and I reinvested $3,825.93. Now, this was a big reinvestment month for me. I normally don't reinvest this much. So, and I had told you guys already about what's my budget. And over here, I mentioned why I spent so much money on reinvestment that last week. So, just a recap for the month. I said the last week of November, which is because of the holiday, this stuff end up paying in December instead of November. So most of these end up paying like the end of the last week of November into December. So I really counted it towards December, and that was $1,125.41, and that was the first week of December. And then the next one we had was Group B. That was Group A. So we started with Group A and we finished with Group A. So Group A paid for Yield Max on um, the last week or the first week of December, the last week of December of November, and then the first week was from the distribution date was the 4th, and the payment date was the 6th. This payment date was the 2nd. So the next one we had was Group B, and I got $1,209.31 for that week. And then the next week we had the distribution date was the 11th and pay date was the 13th, and this was Group C. And I made $1,868.62. And then we had this is the third week. I said second twice. All right, so yeah, this is the third week. You can fix it when you're here. Mm. Third week, which was Yield Max Group D, and I made $3,235.35 for the week. And then now we had the final week here, which was Group A to end it up again. Group A ended up the last week of December, and the distribution date was the 26th, and the pay date is the end of everything should be on the 31st. But stuff is going to pay today, stuff is going to pay on Monday, and stuff is going to pay on the 31st. But all the numbers are out as of today, so I put it all together today, which is the 27th. So this is everything. I made $1,087.24. So roughly, we can see at least I'm making $1,000 per week, and this particular month happened to have 5 payments because of the holidays. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 weeks got me up to the final total for December of 8,525 spot 93. So pretty good month. Pretty good month. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was a good month. I didn't start this channel until I did it for a year. So I stopped working in November and I started the channel up in November again after I've been making money for a year to make sure that, what I was doing was working. I'm constantly changing these things because I'm constantly looking at them. So like Murney, for instance, is really getting really low. I still have 100 of those. I might start selling that off. It's paying 22 cents now, and it's like a five. It's less than $5 now, and it started at 20. I particularly didn't buy it at 20, but even for my own personal cost basis, is really low myself now. I think I bought it at 10, but even at 10, I lost like 50% of the value of this security right now. I'm glad I didn't buy it at 20, but even for buying it at 10, it's kind of worthless now. Unless they do a reverse stock split on it like they did for Tesla when it was really dropping. I think it got down to 8 and they did a 2-for-1 reverse stock split to finally get some value back into to Tesla. And even when they did that, it took a long time for the price to get back even close to 15, much less for 20. So maybe they'll do that with Murney. Murney was more popular, obviously, when the pandemic was going on and everybody had to get those shots. But now, this particular stock in the market itself, the underlying security is not doing well. So obviously, the ETF is not doing well, and they might start thinking about doing a reverse stock split on this one. Also on what's the other one that's not so good? ORARC. It's not as bad as Murney, but ORARC is not so good now either. A lot of the inverse ones, a lot of the short ones are like $8 or $9 now. Maybe those they'll do reverse stock splits on. I don't know, but yeah, they lost most of their NAV value coming out at 20, especially now that most of the yield max securities are coming out at $50. SMCY had completely half the price when it came, and they had that bad review. Like SMCY here, this one, it came out at 50, and it's around 20 something to 30 now. So you lost completely half of the value of it because the underlying super microcomputers went through that issue they had with their books. So those things can happen when you have an ETF on one individual stock. So again, you do get really good payments from Yomax, but you gotta figure out which ones are the good ones, and cut your losses when you realize something is not doing so great. So maybe next year, this one I'm definitely gonna have it. It's probably be down to 50 in January. I already started the spreadsheet for January, but January I'll probably half the Murney position. It's not there yet, but I don't know. I still got 2 more days for the year to take some losses. I might half it and put it on my taxes this year as a loss because this is really half my cost basis right now. I know my cost basis is like $10, and even that I thought I came in good when I got it for $10, but it's really the performance is really really bad. Um, so maybe when I start January, it won't even be 100. It might be 50, and then I'll buy something else. Maybe I'll buy more of this weekly stuff, YBCC or something. But yeah. So I set it up for next month so far. Next month we're gonna have 3 weeks in it. So and then we finally should get a payment for Biggie. Yeah, we should get a payment for Biggie and Soxy, which is these are the target 12 ones for these are the ones that's supposed to be like a set rate of 12%, and you're supposed to not lose your NAV hopefully on these. And this is like most of the big, you know, Dividend Aristocrats are in Biggie, and then Soxy is semiconductor industry. So those two should be pretty reliable, hopefully. But again, they're not guaranteed to have massive payments. They are just supposed to have stable payments. So if that's what you wanted, Yo Max is accommodating the people who want a stable payout and not losing their nav. Which I think Yield Max is pretty accommodating. People ask for weeklies. They came out with the Yield Max and the Y Mag for them. Um, People said they didn't want all their payments in one shot, which is what they was doing in the beginning of the year, and they spaced it out to every week, so you get money every week. And I particularly like that because before, like, I would have got paid on the second week or first week of December, and that would have been paying everything they got, which is like at this point I think it's like 39 different ETFs, but everything would have paid on one day at one time. And some people, especially in the US, can't manage their money that way. A lot of other countries get paid once a month and people manage their money pretty well, but in the US people are kind of more used to getting paid every week, every 2 weeks. They don't really manage their money very well when they get paid once a month. So, I mean, I guess it's accommodating people in the US that they spaced out these group A, B, C, and D, that you get payments, during the month every week instead of getting paid just the one time what we used to get paid before. Everything used to pay like within the first week of the month. So again, I think Max is pretty good. Um, by listening to the investors and doing these various type of investments, so everybody is pretty covered, which I think is pretty good. So again, I think that's nice. But anyway, this is the payday for the last payout for 2024 for Group A, and I made $1,087, and for the whole thing, 8,525 spot 93, which is awesome. Like I said, I was a manager before I left. I was working in banking, and take home pay, I did not make this much money. I probably made, what I made, 2,700, 27 every 2 weeks. So that was 54. I probably took home 54. But then again, when you working, it's tons of stuff come out your check. You had medical, you had dental, you had 401k payments, you had um, Social Security, state. In New York, you had state tax. You had New York City tax if you lived in the city. I happen not to live in the city, so that wasn't taken out my check. But I had to pay it back because I lived so far that I had to pay transportation, which is the Long Island Railroad. So my monthly pass for the Long Island Railroad to get to the city was probably about the same amount they would have took out of my check anyway. So I didn't really win. Um, because my monthly pass on the LIR was $400 versus having a Metro card if I lived in the city, which was 100 and change. So it was $300 more, which was about the same tax they used to take out my account when I lived in Brooklyn versus me living in Long Island. So if you think you got away with anything, you really didn't. You needed that money not to be taken out your check because you had to pay that much money to get to the city. So there you go. It evened out. So yeah, and then yeah, that's how it goes. It's like a tons of stuff that came out your check. So yeah, again, like I said, I made nowhere near this amount of money, and I was in the hundred. I had six figures, and I still wasn't taking home this amount of money that I'm taking home now with dividend payments. So again, lifestyle change. And now, like I said, because I don't gotta pay for lunch at work, and sometime I had to leave so early because how far I live, I was paying for breakfast outside, I was doing lunch outside, and then if I worked overtime, might have been dinner outside or somewhere outside before I reach home. And then the type of food you're eating because you were traveling so much, it was all junk food. You weren't cooking, right? So again, your whole lifestyle, your health, and everything was affected by the rat race of working in the city. And that's just me now, so happy that I have a lifestyle change, and things are going pretty well. And I think I put that to, like I said, these companies right here: Yield Max, Defiance, Roundhill, Rex Shears, getting into something that's tax free from my state like VTN. This is amazing investments that, like, I didn't even have time or energy to think about. JP Morgan securities here, that you just didn't have time to think about where to put your money. Most people just go for the 401k plan that is putting your money in whatever they offer you at your particular company, when if you go into the regular stock market, it's so much things outside that can do so much more for you, um, than what's available in your 401k plan. So, um, just take the time for the new year to think about how much money you have available to at least get started. Like, I'm not saying you can be where I'm at, because I took my servants' money and I cleared out my Roth account, because I didn't think it was doing that much for me, and I wanted to be able to take the money out. So I put my severance and I put my Roth money into a regular brokerage account and started up from 60, and now my account is worth like 140 because I've been investing every time I get paid. You see, I take out some money and reinvest. I'm not spending every cent I made, and I've been doing this for 1 year straight since I stopped working in November. So again, you got to take the opportunities you're given. Not everything is bad. I was getting laid off from my job, and my job was ending, and I was thinking, "Oh my God, like, what am I gonna do?" And then I said, "But you know what? I don't want to do that same kind of job anymore. What else can I do?" A lot of people's like, "Go back to school," and I'm like, I've been working for 26 years. Do I look like I need to go back to school for anything? A lot of, what I'm saying? But, and I've been doing this kind of work. So how about I use the same thing I used for the people you were working for before for yourself, and make your own investments? And this is what I did. So again, I am not a financial advisor. I have made some mistakes in the beginning. I had revamped my whole account in the beginning. When I first started out, you know what I put my money into? Johnson and Johnson, Procter and Gamble, Clorox, those things that everybody say are, they've been around for years. They pay dividends. You know how much money I made from that? I was lucky if I got $500 a month. What is $500 a month going to do for somebody who stopped working, right? So then I had to clear out my whole account and say, what can I invest in that's going to give me an income so that I can support myself, and I don't feel like I'm reliant on, oh man, I need a job, oh man, I need a job, my money is wasting away. You got to put yourself into it, and then Yield Max is my solution. Yield Max again, Defiance, Roundhill, Rexshares, and JP Morgan, is the solution of how to get yourself in a position where you don't feel like you need to work and do a 9 to 5, and you can still support yourself. Again, that's just my own personal quotes. Like I said, it was a trial and error. I'm not gonna act like, oh my God, I came into it and I went into Yield Max and I've been making this kind of money all the time. I think I got myself together from November, maybe February, maybe into March is when I found Yield Max. And then, as they kept adding stuff, I kept thinking about it, and I kept adding stuff, and then I kept building up my positions because I saw what kind of payments they made. But yeah, I messed up in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did the typical dividend stocks, the Johnson and Johnson, the Procter and Gamble, and those things are like 1%, 2%, versus you saw 60%, 100%, 115% payments, which is, astronomical compared to the 2% and 3% you get from those stable securities. I'm not gonna lie, I do have those securities in other accounts. Yes, I do, because you still gotta hold something, because like I said, you could get NAV erosion from yield max. But did I waste my time putting a lot of money into them? No. I probably got 5 shares of Johnson and Johnson versus me having 820 shares of NVDY. I got like 2 shares of Procter and Gamble now versus me having 535 shares of Tesla. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting $1.22 from Tesla, and from Procter and Gamble, I'm getting what, 50 cents, 60 cents. And those shares, this shares cost what, $15 to $17 when I bought it, right? Or less. So sometimes I got this at 11 when I was building up position. Like $11, right? And then how many shares you can buy versus how many shares you can buy of Procter and Gamble, of Johnson and Johnson's, of Kimberly Clark, right? Kimberly Clark is 100 and change security to get what, $1 every quarter. And like I said, even the payment times, they do nothing for you. You get paid every quarter versus getting paid every month. So again, you just had to really look at your personal situation and think, how can I, instead of what you would drilled into your head, like some of those securities are drilled into your head by Procter and Gamble, by Coca-Cola, by Pepsi, right? Those stocks are well known. They are, even when the market's down, they're gonna come back, which is true most of the time. But to live off of the dividends from them, not very possible if you don't have a lot of money. Me working with the amount of money I had when I was going into my leaving work, which was about 60, 70, uh, 60, 50 thousand to invest and try to live off of, you got to think out of the box. And your max is out of the box. So that's what it did for me. And that's it. Anyway, this was the payday for Group A, the last of the year, the end of the season. And I'll probably do another video just going over yield max. Let's just look at the payments for the different ETFs and get that done. Because I wanted you guys to see like what yield max did for the people who invested in it. So that'd be my next one. I'll probably do one just to show the distributions that Yieldmax made and the different ETFs they hold. So see you next time. This is Bluayado channel. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.